Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Again, a warm welcome to the second part of this 4-lecture series on the role of Dharma in the pursuit of Moksha by Vidushi Maitri Gowswami ji. Warm welcome to you also, Maitri ji. Thank you again for doing this session. Let us begin with a small prayer. Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Agajanana Padmarkam Gajanana Maharnisham Anekadantam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahe Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. So viewers, in the morning session, Maitri ji gave a very good introduction to the topic of Dharma and the different facets of Dharma. And she also dealt with some definitions of Dharma. So she will continue her discussion in the second session, especially she will focus on the Shrauta Dharma, Smarta Dharma, and share different facets, the depth of it. I think most people, when we speak of Dharma, we are not aware of these nuances and the depths and the diversity in the discussion. So we have a very vague idea of what Dharma is. So I'm hopeful that the current and session and the sessions tomorrow will be very useful to all of us. So with this very brief note, I request Maitri ji to go ahead and start her second session.
Namaste everyone. In the morning session, we went through the definitions of Dharma, the scope of Dharma, and in which aspects Dharma can be understood, can be discussed. And in the context of the talk, we have been discussing Dharma in the context of attaining mukti as the sadhana of moksha. So we understood that Dharma has been preached by Ishwar, and when we are relating it with a religion or when we are relating with a particular aspect of Dharma, at that time we need to understand it from the Shastra, and Shastra will only work as the praman for understanding Dharma. So after clarifying the area of discussion, now we will switch to the main topic in which we will be discussing the types of Dharma as preached in Shruti, Smruti, Purana and Tantra. Now, as we know after the morning session that the term Dharma is not a very small term in which we can encompass many things, but the term has been coined in a vast meaning. So, as in the morning, we understood that upholding is the meaning of Dharma. Secondly, a law, order, rights, responsibilities, duties are also different meanings of Dharma, which are related with the religious journey of a person. And Dharma as a Purushartha will only encompass the duties a person should follow for the sake of attaining mukti and for the sake of providing ordinances which would be related to earth and calm also. So Abhyuday Nishreyasa Siddhi is the purpose of fulfilling Dharma, and along with that, the other reason behind following Dharma, behind following any type of Purushartha, is a Dukkha Nivritti and Sukha Prapti. This was the aspect I missed in the morning. So just summarizing it in a quick way, and then we'll switch to the main topic. That Dukkha Nivritti and Sukha Prapti is the second purpose of being a part of any of the Purushartha. And Dukkha Nivritti means that when we feel that we are incomplete in our own form, incomplete the way we want to complete ourselves, at that moment a person desires to do something for completing his own self. For example, in the story of Bhagavan Buddha, when his father kept him away from all the problems universe faced, people faced, society faced, and all of a sudden he witnessed the problems people had in their life, they were very nominal for a normal human being. But for Buddha, as he was witnessing it for the first time in his life, he was taken aback by the things happening in the society. And at that time, he felt that there should be a permanent solution for dukkha. And that's why he developed the philosophy of dukkha nivritti and propagated the method for attaining nirvana. So, dukkha nivritti and sukha prapti are the primordial purpose behind everything we do. In each and every activity, we involve ourselves, and that's why the same is the purpose behind purusharthas as well. Though we feel that dukkha nivritti and sukha prapti are same things, but they are not. So nivritti of dukkha or abolishing dukkha is a different thing, and attaining sukh is a different thing. So dukkha nivritti means that when whatever the problem we are facing goes away and we are free from that problem. And sukha prapti is the condition in which we attain something more than the situation in which we were there already before we attained the dukkha. So the second purpose behind purusharthas is dukkha nivritti and sukha prapti, and same is the reason behind following the purusharthas, dharma, kama, and moksha as well. So these four purusharthas have been divided into two more aspects, and which are that earth and calm are for dukkha nivritti, while dharma and moksha are for sukha prapti. So how dukkha nivritti? That for example, if we don't have good food to eat, if we don't have good clothes to wear, or if we don't have sufficient money for living a good life, at that time we face dukkha. And when we have sufficient money and we are able to fulfill basic necessities of ourselves and our family members, at that time we feel that we are not in any sort of problem. So earth and calm ultimately will provide you dukkha nivritti. Through calm, by fulfilling the needs of our sensory organs, we do attain. We don't attain happiness, but we do remain away from the dukkha. So earth and calm are for dukkha nivritti, while dharma and moksha are for sukha prapti. It means a person, a human being, a jivatma, was born in this mortal world by having the bondages of ahanta mamata or avidya shakti on him, which binds him with the worldly objects, with the worldly attachments, and that is the dukkha of a jivatma. So, as discussed in the morning session, that jivatma wants to attain salvation. Jivatma wants to become free from the bondages of avidya, from the bondages of janma and mrityu, and wants to ultimately attain liberation from the state in which it was created, or it was the jivatma came in this mortal world. So dukkha nivritti can be attained through earth and kama, but sukha prapti is not the result of earth and kama purusharth, but it is the result of dharma and moksha purusharth. So by following dharma, when a person attains the results which have been mentioned in Shruti and Smruti shastras, a person attains happiness because he is attaining something which is above the condition in which he already was. He was before he started following dharma. So he attains something more, and that's why attaining something more is known as sukha prapti. Not just the abolition of dukkha can be understood as the synonym to sukha prapti. So sukha prapti will be related with attaining something more than what we were and the situation in which we were. So sukha prapti is attained through dharma and moksha. So this is the second purpose behind following the dharma marga, and the source of dharma marga has to be Shruti and Smriti. So now, as we are focusing upon the Vedic Sanatana Dharma and the aspects of Dharma which have been preached in Vedic Sanatana tradition for the sake of attaining mukti, and along with mukti, other results have also been mentioned in Dharma Shastras, which can provide Jivatma some sort of happiness. Sometimes it may be related with the Kama Purusharth, Artha Purusharth, and sometimes for the sake of mukti as well. So all those type of dharmas are supposed to be discussed in this session. with consideration to what are Shrauta Dharma and what are the aspects of Smarta Dharma, which have been explained in Smruti. And the third aspect of Dharma will be Pauranic and Tantra Dharma, which will be focused upon how Puranas and Agama Tantras have been defining Dharma. So now let us be clarified with the scope of the subject which we have to discuss as of now. So for attaining mukti, we have three different paths, which are karma marg, gyan marg, and upasana marg, as preached in Ved, Smruti, Puran, and Tantra. So this is the major bifurcation of the three methodologies which have been explained or propagated for the sake of attaining salvation. So, karma marg means to follow some set of karma, some set of duties by which a person can attain salvation. Gyan marg focuses upon attaining the knowledge and attaining liberation or mukti through knowledge. Upasana marg focuses upon the devotional practice or puja tradition, the tradition of worshipping a particular deity and then attaining mukti in the form of that particular deity. So, in correspondence to these three methods for attaining mukti, we have to understand the types of mukti as well. That the most basic meaning of mukti, moksha, or salvation is that Jivatma should become permanently free from the cycle of birth and death. Jivatma comes in the cycle of birth and death because of avidya shakti. And the avidya shakti has been explained in five perspectives by saying that there are five effects of avidya shakti. Avidya shakti is provided to the Jivatma for the sake of his universal life. And that avidya shakti bears five type of effects on the human body, among which the first effect is this discussion is not for the sake of understanding the philosophical aspects, but only for the sake of understanding the scope of mukti, which will be needed while we are discussing dharma for the sake of moksha. So, Dehadhyas, Pranadhyas, Indriyadhyas, Antahakaranadhyas, and Swarupa Vismriti. These are the five types of avidya, five effects of avidya, among which Dehadhyas means that when a Jivatma attains the body, Jivatma starts feeling that he is the body, it is not different from the body, and being carrying the identifications of the body is the identity of Jivatma. Same is about Indriyadhyas, Pranadhyas, and Antahakaranadhyas as well. That Man, Buddhi, Chitta, and Ahankar are components of Antahakaran. There are 11 types of sensory organs, 5 types of pran, and all these are parts of our subtle body and gross body, which are known as Sthula Sharir and Sukshma Sharir. So when Jivatma is related with both these bodies, Jivatma starts carrying the identities of both these bodies on itself and starts feeling that whatever is happening to the body is happening to me, or whatever is happening to the sensory organs, whatever sort of desire sensory organs are generating are my desires, or whatever problem my indriyas, my sensory organs are facing are my own problems. And that's why I am happy and sad because of the changes happening with the body and sensory organs or prana and antahakara. So Shastra says that Jivatma should be understood as an independent component, independent object. And when we start understanding that Jivatma is not body, Jivatma is not sensory organ, Jivatma is not prana or antahakaran, at that time we will be able to realize the real form of Jivatma, and only then the journey towards mukti is possible. So self-realization is the first step towards mukti. So Swarupa Vismriti, forgetting the real form of Jivatma, is the fifth effect of avidya, which happens as a result of these four effects. And ultimately, we are not able to identify our own self. We are not able to express our Jivatma in the form it is. So the Shastras say that self-realization is the first step towards mukti, and that's why Jivatma should be identified first of all. So for identifying Jivatma, Shastra Gyan is necessary. Shastra explains us the form of Jivatma. because again, it is not an empirical object which cannot be witnessed through our sensory organs or our mortal means of identifying or understanding the object. So Shastra says that first of all, Jivatma should be known, and after understanding the form of Jivatma, relating it with the eternal reality, which is known as Brahman, a person can start his journey towards Brahman from where it has originated. So the mukti has also been explained in many ways. For example, making Jivatma free from the bondages of both the bodies and avidya shakti, and thereby ultimately being free from the cycle of birth and death, can be the first aspect of dharma, can be the first aspect of karma. On the other side, when we want to attain Brahman and we want to become one with the Brahman, then the Mukti Sadhan, that type of method for attaining that sort of Mukti, Brahma Sayujya, can be a different method. And if a person wants to worship Brahman in a form of a deity, in the form of Shiv, in the form of Vishnu, in the form of Shakti, Ganpati, Kartikeya, etc., then that type of worshipping method, which can be known as Upasana Marg or Bhakti Marg, will be independently a third path for attaining moksha. Now, when we are discussing about the dharma in the aspect of mukti, at that time, though mainly we are focusing upon karma marg and not upon gyan marg and upasana tradition, but the issue is that all these three methods, in spite of being independent methods for attaining salvation, they are interrelated with each other in some or other way. So basic understanding of all these three traditions is important, though we will be focusing upon only karma marg as of now when we are discussing dharma as for the sake of attaining mukti. So Gyan Marg and Bhakti Marg are also, Upasana Marg are also two aspects of dharma which have been explained by Shastras, proposed by Shastras for the sake of attaining different type of muktis. But these three are interrelated with each other in many ways. So we will be discussing the interrelation between these three paths after having some introduction to Karma Marg so that we can understand the interrelation properly. But as of now, we need to be clear that in spite of explaining these three methods independently, all these three methods are interrelated, and proportionately, the method on which we are uh, focusing is known as that person can be identified as a follower of that particular path. But still, all the two different paths which are not focused mainly proportionately still will be a part of his sadhana for attaining mukti, regardless of whichever path he chooses as his main method. So when we are discussing about the karma marg, we will be discussing the karma in the aspect of Shruti, Smruti, Purana, and Tantra. As I said in the morning session, that all these shastras have originated in a hierarchy. And just for the sake of clarification regarding the interpretation going on in the modern times, that we are going through a historical timeline in a vertical timeline, horizontal timeline, in which first of all Ved originated, after that Smruti Shastras originated, after that Puranas originated, and the Tantra Marg and Smruti Margas are the last paths which have been originated. And that's why the people who are focusing upon Dharma must not focus upon what Smruti and Puranas have to say, but must only focus upon what Shruti Shastras have to say. So this is not the way we have ever discussed the Pramana Rupata of these Shastras, because for us, the rishis who had the remembrance of Smruti Shastras, because Smruti is the type of Dharma Shastra, which means that the person who followed the Dharma, he remembered the Dharma and he is sharing his memory with us regarding the Dharma he saw in the people, around the people whom he survived. And on the basis of the Desha Dharma, Kala Dharma, Yuga Dharma, Smruti Shastras have propagated Dharma. for fulfilling the dharma which have been explained in Shruti Shastras. So Shruti, Smruti, Purana and Tantra are complementary to each other. They are not supposed to be divided on the basis of Dharma Shastras, though we can differentiate them on the basis of topics which have been discussed in these different Shastras, but it doesn't mean that the particular Shastra is not explaining the other aspects of Dharma which have been discussed in the different Shastras. So, for example, Puranas do focus upon the Upasana tradition, but it doesn't mean that they don't explain karma marg and gyan marg. While we say that Purvakand of Veda focuses upon the karma part, but it doesn't mean that it is excluding the gyan part. Same way, when we are going through the Upanishads, we feel that Upanishad is only focusing upon the gyan aspect, but it doesn't mean that it is excluding upasana and karma. So, as these three methods are complementary to each other, same way the Shastras which are dedicated for proportionately focusing more upon a particular tradition, even they are not excluding the other two traditions, but they are encompassing the other methods again, but in the context of a particular topic on which they are focused. So let us start with the Shrauta Karma, that when Ved or Shruti Shastra is considered to be the highest authority, at that time the Shrauta Karma are based on yagya. Now, with the yagya, what does the yagya mean? What is the etymological meaning of dharma? Yagya. We will go on that topic. But before that, just for clarifying the misconception, that nowadays people feel that yagya is just a physical activity. We feel that doing swaha, creating a agni, and giving away some amount of ghee or akshat in the fire is known as yagya. And four people sitting around the yagya vedi, speaking or chanting some set of mantras, doing some sort of physical activity is known as yagya. But Shastra doesn't explain yagya in this format. This is the most visible form of yagya, but yagya in itself is a very huge concept. And that's why when we say that Shrauta karma are focused upon yagya karma, at that time we need to understand all the aspects of yagya along with its etymological meaning and the philosophical aspect of yagya karma as well, because of which the karma marg has been explained as the path of attaining mukti. So the sorry. So the term yagya has been defined yajadeva puja sangati karana daneshu. So this definition means that the yaj dhatu, the yaj shabda means deva puja sangati karana daneshu. It means to relate yourselves with a particular devata, the devata who is the originator of that particular yagya karma, who is the ruler of that particular yagya karma, to relate with that devata and to do some sort of dravya tyag, to give some material to that devata for the sake of attaining some result. That physical activity of relating with the devata is known as yagya. So the dev, each and every yagya have been allotted a devata. And if we go through the Samhita and the Brahman Prakarana of Ved, which are dedicated for explaining the format of yagya karma, both these shastras define each and every karma, each and every yagya karma, and relate it with a particular devata, the devata who rules that particular yagya karma. So there are some set of yagya which are dedicated to Indra, some for Surya, some for Prajapati Brahma, some for the Vaishnu devatas, etc. So there are many type of devatas, and all these devatas rule of the particular yagya karma, and the person who is performing the yagya dedicates some dravya or the objects to that devata through Agni, and that devata, after accepting the havish given by the yagya karta, he provides the fruit of the yagya to that particular person. So this is the way yagya should be defined. And the second definition which is given is yagya yacha yata vichya pracharaksho nang sutra dwara nay pratyay. The yaj shabda is related with the nay pratyay, and the yagya shabda itself means devatodeshena kriyamanaha dravya tyagaha. When we make devata the uddeshya, the target of that yagya, that I want to make this devata attain this particular havish, this particular dravya, and whatever dravya, the symbolic dravya which I am offering to the Agni Devata, should reach this particular Dev, and then that particular Devata should provide me this particular fruit of the Yagya Karma. So, with this mentality, when the Yagya Karma is performed by a person under the guidance of a Brahmin, at that time that Yagya Karma is fulfilled, and then the Devata will provide the person a particular fruit. So, the whole format of Shrauta Karma is in the format of the different types of Yagya. There are majorly 5 types of Yagya Karma, which have been explained in Shruti: Agnihotra, Darsha, Purnamas, Pashuyag, Chaturmas, and Somayagya. And the Rigveda explains that these are the 5 organs of a Devata, and the face of the Devata is Upanishad. It means that consider the Yagya Devata in the form of a human body, and feel that there are 2 legs, there are 2 hands, the part of the chest and the face and the head. So if we divide a human body into these organs, then these 5 type of yagyas will work as the 5 organs of Yagya Devata, and the Gyan aspect of, as explained in the Upanishads, will focus upon, it is considered to be the mouth of that Yagya Devata. So, Agnihotra, Darsha Purnamas, Pashuyag, Chaturmasya, and Soma Yagya. This is the format of Vedic Karma, and these Yagyanushtanas are supposed to be fulfilled by a person in the format as explained in Brahman Shastra and Samhita Shastra. So, Agnihotra is supposed to be performed on daily basis. Darsha Purnamas Pashuyag happens on by the 15 days and at the end of the month. Chaturmasya Yagya is performed after completing 4 months of Agnihotra Karma, and Soma Yagya is the annual Yagyanushthan, which is supposed to be fulfilled after a whole year of fulfilling Agnihotra Karma. So this is the way Shrauta Karmas have been explained in the format of these Yagya. Now the physical activity of Yagya, or the Dravya Tyag, which is done towards the Yagya, can be understood in 2 different types, which is known as Prakriti Yagya and Vikriti Yagya. Prakriti Yagya means that when we are expecting some type of fruit as a result of Yagya Karma, then that type of Yagya Karma is known as Vikriti Yagya Karma. And when a person is performing the Yagya Karma with the intention of attaining mukti, or by remaining detached with whatever activity he is performing, then that type of Yagya Karma will be known as Prakriti Yagya. So 5 types of Yagya, when divided into 2 types of Prakriti and Vikriti Yag, we have 10 types of Yagya Karma. And all these Yagya Karma will lead a person towards the result he has thought of before getting involved into the Yagya Karma. So if it is a Sakam Karma for the sake of attaining some type of fruit, then it will, the Devata of the Yagya Karma, Yagya Vidhi, will provide the Yagya Karta the result he desired as a result of the Yagya Karma. And if a person is not expecting any result at the end of the Yagya Karma, then that Nishkam Yagya Karma done with Brahma Gyan, with the Gyan, will provide the person the result of Moksha. Because the Janma and Mrityu, the cycle of Punya Pap or birth and death, happens when a person is relating himself with the karma. And he feels that as I am doing this type of good deed or a bad deed, I should attain punya or pap as a result of good and bad deeds. And those punya and pap phal are supposed to be, they are registered in as the karma phal of the karma a person is performing. And then a person must attain a new birth or should go to a particular yoni or a lok for bearing the fruit of punya and pap. So, for example, he accumulates punya karma, then he will go to the Swargalok, he will relish the Swargalok for some particular time till the date the amount of punya phal he has accumulated remains. And after fulfilling that period, he will come back again on this earth. And again, the cycle of karma, the cycle of karma phal, and the birth and death will continue. But if a person feels that I don't want to attain Papafal, I don't even want to attain Punyafal, but I want to become free from the bondages of all these, the cycle of birth and death, then that person can focus upon Nishkama Karma, in which he will just have that beautiful mindness in his mind that because the Devatas are providing me some facilities. That's why the whole yagya karma is done for the sake of devata as a part of taxation. The way we give tax to the government, because government is providing us some facilities, same way Agni Devata, Varuna Devata, Pavana Devata, Prithvi Devi, etc. All these Devi Devatas are upholding the universe and providing us the basic things which we need for our survival. So we need water, it is provided by Varuna Devata. Indra Devata is the Devata of rain. So he is regulating the whole system of providing rain to the Prithvi, through which Prithvi is providing us vanaspati, through which we are able to have grains and food for survival. Same way, Agni Devata is providing us the fire. So each and every Devata have some or the other type of roles to play in this universe, and they are, as they are providing us, they are fulfilling some or the other basic necessities of our life. So yagya is also a type of being thankful towards the devatas. So for example, the way we provide tax to the government attains the money from the tax paid by the citizens, and governments provides the basic facilities for the society by using the money it attained through tax. But if people stop providing the tax and still the citizens want the facilities, from where the government will fulfill those needs? So same is about the relation of devatas with the human beings, that we need to fulfill the requirements of the devatas by performing punya karma. By papa karma, the asura shakti strengthens, and by fulfilling punya karma, the devatas strengthens. So when we provide the yagya havish to the devatas, devatas attain power and they fulfill the basic necessities of the human life, and they regulate the universe in a proper way for the sake of maintaining the cosmos created by Bhagavan. So the Nishkam Yagya Karta has this type of mindset that whatever I am doing is for the sake of Devatas, and as Devatas are fulfilling my needs, my necessities, so being thankful, the conveying gratitude towards the Devata can also be a purpose behind the Yagya Karma. So Nishkam Yagya Karta can have this type of mindset in his mind while performing the Yagya, and in that case, the Devata will not be providing any Punya Karma or Punya Phal or a Papa Phal to the person, and then ultimately by fulfilling the credits of Nishkam Karma at the end of life, he can attain liberation or moksha. This is the way Nishkam Karmas have been framed. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan has bifurcated the types of yagya into three parts by saying that there are some type of sattvic yagya karma, there are some type of rajasa yagya karma, and there are some type of tamas yagya karma as well in the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So there he says that the person who feels that performing yagya is my duty as it has been preached in the Ved, and as the devatas are fulfilling my necessities and my needs, I should convey my gratitude towards the devatas, and as I am attaining the objects in the universe, I have the means for attaining arth and kam. So my arth, my dravya, my sampatti, and my kamana, my desires should be fulfilled through yagya. At that time, that person performs the yagya karma, and through that yagya karma, that type of yagya is categorized as sattvic yagya, because a person has a good mindset of attaining mukti at the end of his life. So just dutifulness, with just dutifulness in his mind and with the attitude of gratitude and thankfulness towards the Devta, that type of yagya is known as Satvika yagya. The second type of yagya is known as Rajas yagya, in which Bhagavan says that when a person feels that I want to attain some punya phal as the result of this yagya karma, or the particular devata who is ruling that yagya karma should give me this result at the end of my yagya karma, and then I want to become a prosperous person through yagya, then that mindset, that sakamata, is that type of yagya is categorized as rajasa yagya, which just fulfills the mortal desires of a person but will not bear you any type of immortal fruit. But the reality, as accepted in Manusmruti as well, is that not each and every human being in this universe can be nishkam. So even if a person is a sakam, he should be inclined towards the dharma marg, and dharma marg itself should provide him the way through which he can fulfill his desires. So it would not be okay for a person to not follow the dharma path for fulfilling his desire. So rather it is good that even if I have some desires in my heart, I want to fulfill some my needs, then I should fulfill those through yagya and must go through a way dharma has preached us. So though it is not appreciated, but still it is not even negated. So that type of yagya karma is categorized as rajasic yagya, and the heinous aspect of yagya is titled as tamas yagya, in which Bhagavan says that a person who is not following the vidhi of a yagya karma, he is not providing the proper havish to the devata, who is not able to chant the mantra in a proper way, who is not able to understand the meaning of mantra, purpose of the yagya, and he hasn't even attained the diksha for performing the yagya karma. He is not even having the faith in the yagya karma. Then that type of yagya is categorized as tamas yagya, which will bear the papa phal as a result of yagya. So Bhagavan, by bifurcating the yagya into these three types, emphasizes upon nishkama karma, which has also been explained as karma phala tyag and karma sannyas, uh, as the title of 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavan says that in spite of being involved into a particular karma, you can be detached with that karma. But again, as discussed in the morning session, that it doesn't mean that the job I'm doing should be nishkam, or whatever activities I'm doing in my day-to-day life are nishkam, and then I feel that yeah, I am following the path of karma sannyas. It is not so. But the karma which have been preached in the Dharma Shastras, when those karmas are performed with the mindset of not expecting any result at the end of karma, but with the pure mindset of conveying gratitude and for the sake of fulfilling the duties as preached in the Dharma Shastras, then that type of yagya karma can be known as sattvic yagya, which can lead a person towards the path of salvation. So these are the types of yagya karma as preached in Bhagavad Gita. And again in Gita, Bhagavan explains the integration of karma and jnana by focusing upon karma. So as I said that in Gita, Bhagavan is coining the term karma sannyas, karma phala tyag. So what does it mean by karma sannyas? What does it mean by karma phala tyag? So there Bhagavan explains that whichever type of karma are done for the sake of yagya will make a person free from the bondages of karma. How will that happen? So for explaining the process, uh, Bhagavan is explaining the origination of karma by saying that karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yagya pratishtitam. So Brahma is the name given to the eternal reality of this universe, and there Bhagavan says that understand that karma has been originated from that Brahman, because Brahman is composed of two type of Shaktis which are known as Kriya Shakti and Jnana Shakti. So Kriya Shakti, the potential of performing karma, potential of being involved in any type of deed, is again originated from Brahma. Same way, the aspect of knowledge is also originated from Brahman. So Karma Shakti, Kriya Shakti and Jnana Shakti, are the two compositions of Brahma which have been inherited by the individual beings, the Jivatmas, because Bhagavan created the Ishwar, Brahman created Jivatmas from his Sadansha and Chidansha, the Sat Gunadharma and Chit Gunadharma, through which Jivatmas have been composed. So there Bhagavan says that Karma Brahmodbhavam Vidhi. Understand that karma has originated from Brahma. So whatever Kriya Shakti you have in yourself for performing any type of karma, from the most basic karma of having food or being physically active or being able to make use of your physical abilities, from there till the most complex form of karma, which is yagya karma, till that each and every karma is originated from the Kriya Shakti of Brahman. That's why I understand that whatever karma you are doing is a part of a cosmic karma. It is not your individual karma. So I must not identify myself as an individual person and must have the ego of performing that type of karma on the basis of my own potentials. But I must consider that my Kriya Shakti has originated from Brahmic Kriya Shakti. And that's why whatever I have is only a drop of the huge ocean. The Kriya Shakti of Brahman is like the ocean, and the Kriya Shakti or Jnana Shakti I possess is just like a drop of that Kriya Shakti and Jnana Shakti from where I have originated. So there Bhagavan says that that's why Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma. So everything finds its origination in Brahman, the eternal reality, and that Brahman is Nityam Yagya Pratishtitam. It always remains in the Yagya karma. But what happens is that, for example, I am involving myself in some type of karma or jnana, and I am not relating my karma and jnana with Kriya Shakti and Jnana Shakti of Brahman, the eternal reality. Then that karma and jnana will remain my individual karma and jnana, which will bear punya and papa phal. But if I relate myself with the eternal reality by understanding that no, I am not a independent person, I am not an individual, but my Kriya Shakti and Jnana Shakti are a part of Brahmic Kriya Shakti and Jnana Shakti, then I will not be bound with that particular karma. Because the karma which is not of my own, the Kriya Shakti which has been taken from someone else, the Brahman, who is the originator of the whole universe, then that Kriya Shakti is not my Kriya Shakti. And that's why whatever fruit I should attain as a result of that karma should not even be provided to me because I am just a drop of that Kriya Shakti. My Kriya Shakti is just a particle of that Kriya Shakti. So if a yagya karta, if a person is performing karma, if a person is performing yagya, the karma as explained by the Dharma, then that karma will become the part of the cosmic Kriya Shakti, and then it will relate you with the Brahmiki Shakti and will not provide you any type of individual fruit leading you towards the path of mukti. So by taking it ahead, Bhagavan says that aham kratu aham yagyah swadaham aham aushadam mantroham ahame vajyam aham agnir aham bhutam. So this is from the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavan says that I am the karta. Don't consider yourself a karta. Consider that Brahman is the karta. You are just a particle of Brahman, and that's why you feel that you are being a karta, but Brahman is the karta because he owns Kriya Shakti. You don't own Kriya Shakti. You have inherited Kriya Shakti from Brahman. So it is not your own Shakti. Aham yagya, Brahman itself is the yagya. Swadha aham, the objects which are used for the sake of yagya karma are also Brahman itself because everything is originated from Brahman. Aham aushadam, whatever you use for the sake of yagya, the akshar, the yav, the ghee, whatever is being used in the yagya vidhi is also the form of Brahman. Mantroham, the mantra we chant is also the form of Brahman. It is the Shabda Roop of Brahma. Ahame vajyam, aham agnir, aham hutam. Brahman itself is the fire, and whatever you are offering to the Devata, that offering is also the Brahman. The Devata is also the Brahman. So ultimately, whatever is the result of yagya karma, that result is also the Brahman itself. So there, by concluding this thing, Brahma says that Brahmarpanam, Brahma Havir, Brahmagnau, Brahmana Hutam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. So there, Ishwar Bhagavan says that Brahmarpanam, whatever you are doing is if it is with the understanding that I am doing it for the sake of Brahman, Brahman itself is doing the yagya karma, Brahma is being the fire, the Agni, the medium through which we are offering the Havish to the Devata. Brahman itself is being the originator, creator, and the regulator of that yagya in the form of the whichever the Devata is. And that's why if you have this type of Brahmic understanding while performing the yagya karma, then that yagya karma will Brahmaiva tena gantavyam. So the yagya karta will go to the Brahman, the originator through which he was created, through which he attained this individual being, the Jivatma. So Brahmaiva tena gantavyam Brahma karma samadhina. Because the karma in which a person is involved, that karma is being done by having samadhi in Brahman. The samadhi means to be completely concentrated. So when a person is not aware that I am the performer of the yagya, I am the regulator of the yagya, or yagya is being done by me, then with that understanding, that Brahmic understanding, where Gyan attains integration with the karma. Because the Upanishad, the second aspect of the Ved has been divided into two parts, Purvakand and Uttarkand, in which Purvakand explains the meaning of karma and explains the types of karma, which we discussed as of now. And the Upanishad focuses upon the Gyan aspect. And this is the juncture where Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita is explaining the integration of karma and Gyan, where he says that if you have Brahma Gyan, it means that my Jivatma is originated from Brahma, and the Sat Gunadharma of Brahma will create all the non-living objects, the Jad Padarthas. The Chit aspect of Brahman will create all the conscious beings, Jivatmas. And that's why the whole universe, which can be categorized into living and non-living objects, are created from the Brahmic Gunadharma, Brahmic attributes only. So with this understanding, if a person is involving in the yagya karma by having Brahma Gyan, then that karma integrated with Gyan will provide the result of moksha. Because Brahmaiva tena gantavyam. So there in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says that if the yagya is being performed with the mentality that I am the performer of the yagya, Devta is relishing the fruit of yagya, he will provide me some type of fruit. With that, this type of dualistic mindset, if a yagya is being performed, then that yagya will provide you the mortal results. While with the understanding of non-dualism, that these different aspects of a yagya karma, the karta of yagya karma, havish of the yagya karma, the Agni Devata, the Devata who is the originator of the yagya karma, the objects which are being used in the yagya karma, the person who is teaching me, sorry, the person, the Purohit who is teaching me the yagya karma, all these are different people. They are not one, they are different. With this dualistic mindset, if a yagya karma is being performed, then that yagya karma will remain only a physical activity, which will definitely lead you towards the mortal results of yagya karma, because it will not be fruitful in the context of mukti. But if the gyan is integrated with the karma, then that samuchaya of karma and gyan will provide you the result of moksha. That integrated karma, yagya karma, or whichever karma we perform in the aspect of Shruti and Smruti both, will lead you towards mukti. So there Bhagavan says that Tasmad Om Ityudaharatya Yagya Dana Tapakriyaha Pravartante Vidhanoktaha Satatam Brahma Vadinam. So in these words, Bhagavan is concluding the subject by saying that that's why Omkar, which is Shabda Brahma, which is the originator of the whole Dharmic Shastras, that Omkar should be understood as the most
There seems to be a disconnection on the speaker side. We'll just wait for a few minutes. You're muted, Maitri ji. Unmute yourself.
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible
Yes,
now.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost the Wi-Fi connection because of the electricity loss.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Let us continue. So what Bhagavan means in Bhagavad Gita is that when we say that the yagya karma should be integrated with the gyan aspect, at that time that gyan means Brahma gyan, and when the karma is ruled by the gyan and it is integrated with the gyan, at that time that whole yagya karma will lead a person towards mukti, towards the origin of his individual being or jivatma from into the Chaitanya Gunadharma of Brahman from where it has originated. So what I mean with this topic was that we must not consider that yagya has just been preached or propagated as a physical activity, but it has this philosophical aspect of gyan involved with it, which has been summarized by Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita, and same has been explained in the Upanishads as well. So this yagya karma should be performed in with this aspect. Only if performed with this aspect, a person can attain this type of result. And that's why Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita says that Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha Nistraigunya Bhava Arjuna. So there Bhagavan explains Arjun that though the Vedas have explained Sattva, Raj and Tam, these three type of gunas, and each and every karma a human being involves into is ruled by any of these three guna, because we are made out of Prakriti, and Prakriti has these three type of gunas, which is Sattvic, Rajas and Tamas. So whatever we do, whatever we involve in, everything is ruled by the Prakriti and the attributes of Prakriti, which are Sattvic, Rajas, and Tamas. And because most of the people are Prakrit, they are ruled by Prakriti, they are not able to keep themselves away from the Prakritata. That's why all these beings are supposed to get involved into the Prakrita Dharma, the Dharma which will lead you toward the mortal fruits. But Nistrai Gunya Bhavarjuna. So here Bhagavan concludes by saying that, but if a person wants to attain Nirgunata, Nirgunata is the condition in which a person overcomes the bondages of Sattvic, Rajas and Tamas Guna and becomes Nirgun as a result of Brahma Gyan. And so Bhagavan says that be Nistrai Gunya. It means go beyond the aspects of gunas, go beyond the capacity of gunas and be Nirgun. And that Nirgun stage is related with Moksha, salvation or Brahma Gyan. So Brahma Gyan can only lead a person towards the Nistrai Gunyata, Nirgunata. And that's why the dharma has been preached in both the ways, pravritti mulaka dharma and nivritti mulaka dharma. It means there are some set of dharmas, orders, laws which involve a person, which makes the person pravritta in some or the other activities, and there are some dharmas which give us the explanation of nivritti marg. It means to be free from the bondages. So the same yagya karma can be performed with pravritti mindset, and same yagya karma can be performed with nivritti mindset also. So yagya karma doesn't just mean that it is only for the sake of fulfilling your sakamata, for the sake of providing a person some mortal results, and it is just a mere physical activity which doesn't have the aspect of gyan in it. But yes, it is true that it completely depends upon the yagya karta. It means as a karta, if I am fulfilled with Brahma Gyan, only then I would be able to perform the Nivritti Dharma. But only by going through the ordinances, just by reading the text, just by reading the Vidhi, which explains the physical aspect of Yagya, it will not give me the Brahma Gyan. So by combining Purvakanda and Uttarakanda of Ved, By the integration of karma and gyan, a person can understand that a person must not involve in pravritti mulaka dharma, but must focus upon the nivritti mulaka dharma. So the yagya karma is not just pravritti, it is also about nivritti, but only if the yagya karta is having brahma gyan in his mind. So with this brahma gyan, he can fulfill nivritti mulaka dharma, through which the karma itself will become a path for attaining liberation, while the yagya karta will relate itself with Brahman, the primordial origin of the universe and the individual beings. So, this is the way Vedic karmas have been formed in the form of yagya. And yagya karma have this philosophical aspect, which has been explained by Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita, summarized in Bhagavad Gita, and also being discussed in Samhita and Brahman Granth, Aranyak Granthas of Ved, and also in the Upanishad. So this is the format of Shrauta Dharma. Now switching towards the Smarta Dharma, how Smrutis have explained the Dharma, what is the need of Smruti Shastras, how Smruti Shastras lead us towards the path of liberation, and how the Smarta Dharmas can be understood as independent format of Dharma and also as a complementary Dharma towards the Shrauta Dharma. So these are the aspects which we have to discuss now. So Smriti Shastras in the etymological meaning means that the memory or remembrance of the rishis. So there are basically 18 Smriti Shastras which have been written, propagated by 18 rishis, including Manu, Atri, Parashar, Agastya, etc. And all these Smriti Shastras have explained the form of Dharma. So these rishis who are mantra drashta, rishinaha mantra drashtaro, this is the definition of rishi. It means the mantras of Ved were not written on the physical paper. We never attained Ved and Vedic knowledge, the Vedic richas in the form of shlok, but they came in the form of paravani. There are 4 type of vani: para, pashyanti, madhyama, and vaikhari, which have been explained in Upanishads, where paravani means the most primordial form of knowledge, which is related with the jnana shakti of Brahman, the ultimate jnana shakti of Brahman, the unlimited jnana shakti of Brahman. Pashyanti means to decode the Brahmic jnana shakti in the format of Gyan, in the format of Shastra. Madhyama means to understand the aspects of Gyan, and Vaikhari means to decode that Gyan in our language, in our physical ability. So the Gyan of Ved, the Gyan of Shastras originated from Paravani till the Vaikhari Vani, in which the rishis have been the medium of attaining that Gyan. So rishis are mantra drashta. They attained the Brahma Gyan, the Gyan of Vedas, the Shastras, in the condition of Samadhi, and then they propagated the Dharma Marg. They wrote the Dharma Marg in the form of Smriti Shastras. So Smriti Shastra has been, the subject matter of Smritis has been divided into 2 parts: Nityanumeya Ved Mulika Smriti Vibhag and Achar Mulika Smriti Vibhag. Nityanumeya Ved Mulika Smriti Vibhag means that the Smriti which just explains the meaning of Ved, and Achar Mulika Smriti Vibhag means that whatever type of implementation of Dharma rishis witnessed around them, they wrote that Dharma, and that Dharma is known as Achar Mulaka Dharma. Both are considered to be equivalent to each other, because the person who is following the Dharma, the person who is realizing Dharma, person who is a Brahma Jnani in itself is a Brahman, and whatever he says, whatever he speaks, whatever he writes is considered to be equivalent praman to what Vedas have to say. So Smriti, in spite of not being Shruti, different from Shruti, because Shrutis have been, the Vedas have been attained directly from the Ved, and Ved are known to be apaurushaya, not written or propagated by a mortal human being. But Smriti Shastras were, as they are propagated by rishis, Many of the people say that we must not consider Smruti Shastras to be as a Pramana Grantha in correspondence to Vedas because they have been written by mortal beings. But in spite of being human beings, mortal beings, the rishis are mantra drashta, and we have attained the Shruti Shastras from the same rishis who are writing the Smritis on the basis of their memory, on the basis of their remembrance of the Dharma they witnessed around them. So Shruti and Smriti are considered to be complementary to each other. And in the Brahma Sutras, Vyas has written a sutra named Smritishcha. And in the Bhashya of that sutra, all the acharyas have accepted that Smriti Shastras should be considered as equivalent praman to the Shruti Shastras. Only if some or the other part of Smritis don't go against the Vedas, don't negate any aspect of Ved, then, and among the Smritis, the most superior Smriti is accepted as Bhagavad Gita, and after that, Manusmriti is considered to be the most respected one, and all the other 17 Smritis which are related with one or the other Rishi are supposed to be complementary to what Manu spoke. So Smriti Shastras are also considered to be the Praman Mulaka Shastra equivalent to the Vedas because the Mantra Drashta Rishis have wrote those Smritis on the basis of Dharma they witnessed around them. Now, what is the usage of Smriti and how Smriti is complementary to Ved and how Smriti, the Smartha Dharma, can also be used as an independent Dharma if the Shraut Dharma is not available to a person or if a person is not able to follow the Shraut Dharma path. In that case, the Dharma Shastras say that there are 6 aspects for fulfilling Dharma, which are Desha, Kala, Dravya, Karta, Mantra, and Karma. And when we attain the purity of all these 6 aspects of Dharma, only then Dharma can be fulfilled. Among which the first aspect is Desh. It means the place in which you are performing the Dharma Karya, Shrauta Dharma, should be pure. The Kal, the time in which you are performing the Yagya Karma, should be pure. Dravya, it means the objects which are being used for fulfilling that Yagya Karma. Again, those objects should be pure. Mantra, the mantras being chanted during the Yagya Karma are supposed to be spoken in a particular method, and the person should understand the meaning of the mantras as well. The karta should be pure. It means the person who is involving himself in the Yagya Karma should be in the pure condition. As per the purity, again, will be decided on the basis of dharmic ordinances, not on the basis of our criteria of cleanliness or purity. So the karta should be pure, and thereby it will result into the karma being fulfilled through the 5 aspects of dharma. So Smriti Shastras explain us the achar, the physical norms of purity through which we can attain the purity of Desha, Kal, Dravya, Karta, Mantra, and Karma, thereby fulfilling the basic necessary need of a Shrauta Karma. What happened is that during the Satyuga, Shastras say that each and every being was as pure as Vedavyas, and they were as jnani, as knowledgeable as Vedavyas, and that's why there was no need to explain these aspects of Dharma to a person who was equivalent to Vyas. But when the Dwapar, the Treta Yuga came, at that time, with the declining time, with the declining time frame, the Dharma, the purity of Dharma also declined, and that's why it was necessary to preach the norms of purity for performing the Shrauta Karma, and that's why Smriti Shastras were originated for explaining the purity of Desha, Kala, Dravya, Karta, Mantra, and Karma. And with that aspect, Dharma Shastras say that it is necessary for a person to go through the Smriti Shastras for understanding the aspects of Desha, Kala, Dravya, Karta, Mantra, and Karma. So Shruti Shastra though explain the Yagya Karma, but they don't explain the aspects of the 6 aspects of Dharma, and that's why it is necessary for a person to understand these aspects, these norms of purity, these 6 aspects of Dharma, purity of Dharma from Smriti Shastras. So in this aspect, Smriti Shastras can be complementary to the Vedic Dharma, and a person who is following the Shruti Dharma must attain the knowledge of the purity regarding these six aspects of Dharma from Smriti Shastras. And that's why the Achar Mulika Smriti Vibhag is also considered to be Pramana Mulak equivalent to the Vedas. Because without understanding the six aspects of Dharma, the six aspects of purity, the norms of purity for fulfilling the six aspects of Dharma, one person will not be eligible for performing Shrauta Karma in Treta, Dwapar, and Kalyug, even if he is eligible for doing so. So, in that aspect, Smriti Shastras are considered to be complementary to Ved. And on the other side, if a person is not eligible for performing Shraut Dharma, or he is not capable of fulfilling the Shraut Dharma, then Smriti Shastras preach Dharma on independent basis as well for the sake of attaining mukti. So Smriti Shastra should be understood in both these aspects by taking into consideration the complementary aspect of Smriti Shastras and the independent aspect of Smriti Shastras, in which the Smritis will focus upon preaching the Dharma, which will be related with the Vedic Dharma, but will be different from Vedic Dharma and will focus upon the eligibility criteria of a person. And a person can relate himself with the dharmas as preached in Smriti Shastra. So now switching to the topic of Smriti Dharma, Smarta Dharma. The Smritis have explained Dharma in two categories, Deha Dharma and Atma Dharma. As we understood that the purpose of Dharma is Abhyuday and Nishreyasa Siddhi. So Abhyuday is the aspect for the sake of body, and Nishreyas is the aspect for the sake of Jivatma. So when we are discussing about the Abhyuday aspect of Dharma, at that time we need to focus upon the Deha Dharma, the Dharma which is for the sake of body, and the body which is sake of the fulfilling Dharma, dharmic needs, and the body which is for the sake of Atma. So the Deha Dharma incorporates three aspects of Dharma, which are Samanya Dharma, Varna Dharma, and Ashram Dharma. And Atma Dharma just focuses upon the Mukti. So the Deha Dharma has been divided into these three types, Samanya Dharma, Varna Dharma, and Ashram Dharma. Samanya Dharma means that the duties which are supposed to be fulfilled by each and every human being, irrespective of any Varna, any Ashram, or any gender, male, female, whatever he is. But being a human, you need to fulfill these 10 aspects of Dharma, which have been preached in Manusmriti. Dhruti Kshama Damosteyam Shaucham Indriya Nigraha Dhi Vidya Satyam Akrodho Dashakam Dharma Lakshanam. So here Manusmriti says that there are 10 Samanya dharmas to be followed in general by each and every human being, which are known as Dhruti, Kshama, Dama, Asteya, Shaucha, Indriya Nigraha, Dhi, Vidya, Satya, and Akrodh. If we go through the Puranic tales, we can understand and we can find the examples of the people who have incorporated these Samanya Dharma in their day-to-day life. Starting from the Dhruti means to be patient, to be faithful. Kshama means to forgive. Dama means self-control. Asteya means to achaurya. It means not to steal anything from anyone, not to take anything from anyone without his permission. Shaucha means pavitrata. There are two aspects of Shaucha, which are Manasa Shaucha and Daihika Shaucha. Manasa Shaucha means to be pure with mind, and Daihika Shaucha means to be pure with the respect of body. Indriya Nigraha means to have control over sensory organs. Dhi means to attain knowledge. Vidya means to attain that type of knowledge which can be beneficial for attaining mukti. Savidya ya vimuktaye. Satya means to be faithful towards the dharmic ordinances, and akrodh means to have control over the anger. These Samanya dharmas have been preached by Manusmriti by saying that in whatever time you are, in whichever place you are, in whatever condition you are, a person is supposed to fulfill these 10 Samanya dharmas and only then he would be able to attain mukti. Because these dharmas, these samanya dharmas, work as the most basic format of dharma for a human being who will be keeping the base of dharma, Shrauta dharma and Smarta dharma both on the basis of Samanya dharma. So these 10 aspects of Samanya dharma, they are supposed to be fulfilled by each and every person in his day-to-day life, and it will be beneficial for a person to attain Satvikata, thereby being beneficial towards attaining Nirgunta for the sake of Mukti. Now, switching towards the Varnashram Dharma, which have been taught for the sake of body, then Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra are the four Varnas. Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas are the four stages of ashram. And Dharma Shastra says that whenever we are preaching a person a dharma, at that time we need to categorize a person in these Varna or ashram dharma, in the category of any of these types, and only then dharma can be preached. Whatever dharma it is, it may be smarta dharma, it may be shrauta dharma. So eligibility criteria depends upon these modes of identifications, and a person needs to identify himself in these aspects through which he can understand his eligibility, and on the basis of which he can be preached the dharma. So Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra are the four type of varnas. They have been divided on the basis, they have been preached, these dharmas have been preached on the basis of the criteria of Janma, Karma, and Sanskar. It means the family a person is born in, the duties he fulfills, which have been mentioned in Smruti Shastras, and what are the 16 type of sanskaras his body attained for the sake of spiritual purity. So the Brahman is allotted the duty of preaching the Dharma Shastras. He is a teacher, he is the guru. Kshatriya is for the sake of protecting the society. Vaishya is for the sake of fulfilling the business needs of the society. And Shudra is for serving the society. All these people following the Varna Dharmas have been preached elaborately in Smruti Shastras, and a person who is pure in respect of his Varna Dharma is eligible for performing Shrauta Dharma and Smarta Dharma. There are four ashrama dharmas in which a human life is divided. So tentatively, if we consider that a human life will be of 100 years, then in the categories of 25 years, all these four ashram dharmas have been divided. Again, they are related with the Varna Dharma. So Brahmacharya is the period when a person is supposed to learn and study the Vedas. Grahast is the condition in which a person leads a married life, a family life. He fulfills his physical needs and fulfills the needs of the society by bearing a child, by keeping the lineage go on with, by creating the generations ahead. Vanaprasth is the ashrama dharma in which a person is supposed to detach himself from the worldly life he was leading as a grahastha, and he should leave the house, he should leave the family, he should leave the society, and must start living in a small hut with his wife, and must be content with whatever he attains without getting involved into any type of occupation. And sannyas is the fourth ashrama dharma in which a person completely focuses upon attaining moksha or mukti. So these are the four types of varna dharma and ashram dharma, which are considered to be the base of all the dharmic preachings, irrespective of shraut and smart. So whenever a person wants to involve in any shraut dharma, any smarta dharma, the eligibility criteria depends upon his identification on the basis of varna dharma and ashram dharma. And Smruti Shastras play a major role in preaching varna dharma and ashram dharma. Because in Vedas, the dharmas have been preached. The Shastra preach us the yagyas. They say that this yagya is supposed to be performed by this particular person, and this yagya anushthan should be performed in this particular way for attaining this fruit or for the sake of attaining mukti with brahmagyan, etc. The way we understood the Shrauta dharma. But what should be the eligibility criteria of performing that dharma should be understood from Smruti Shastras, because Vedas don't explain the Varnashrama Dharma. So, exclusively, Smruti Shastras play a major role in explaining Varnashrama Dharma, on the basis of which the whole aspect of Dharma Shastras depends. And that's why the purity of Varna Dharma and purity of Ashrama Dharma should be attained by following the Smruti Shastras and by following the means of fulfilling Varna Dharma and Ashram Dharma as preached in Smritis accordingly. Only then a person remains eligible for performing that dharmic kriya. Otherwise, if the eligibility goes wrong, then in spite of being involved into the dharmic kriya, into the dharmic karma, that dharmic karma will not lead a person towards the right path, but will bear opposite fruit than the fruit which has been already preached in the Dharma Shastra. Now, going ahead with the types of karma preached in in the Smruti Shastras, there are many types of karmas which can be bifurcated into mainly 5 categories, which are Nitya karma, Naimittik karma, Kamya karma, Nishiddha karma, and Prayashchitta karma. Nitya karma means that there are some duties which are allotted to a person which are supposed to be performed on daily basis. Naimittik karma are the karma which are supposed to be performed occasionally, fulfilled occasionally. Kamya karma are the duties which a person should follow for the sake of attaining some type of particular fruit. And if he is not desiring to attain that fruit, then he is excluded of that kamya karma. Nishiddha karma are the activities which are prohibited by the Shastras. And Prayashchitta karma, it means that if I accidentally get involved into any wrong deed, then for the sake of rectifying the papa karma, I should perform a Prayashchitta karma so that I can become pure again for following the path of Dharma. So Smriti Shastras preach these type of karmas on independent basis. It means now we are not discussing about the Smriti Shastras being complementary to the Vedic Dharma, but it's the smart Dharma to be as an independent Dharma for attaining mukti. So again, the major category of karma dharma will remain the same, that there are some karma which are sakam, there are some karma which are nishkam. But in same is about the Smruti Shastras as well, that Nitya karma and Naimittik karma are nishkam karma, while Kamya karma and Nishiddha karma bear the fruit of punya and path both. So Nishiddha karma will bear the fruit of path, while Kamya karma depends upon the choice of person and the desire he has for attaining a particular fruit. So here Smriti Shastra divides Nitya and Naimittik karma into 4 types of yagya karma, which are known as Bhuta Yagya, Deva Yagya, Swadhyaya Yagya, and Tapo Yagya, based on the Varnashrama Dharma. So Bhuta Yagya means that when we are feeding a person, when we are feeding an animal, when we are feeding our own self, at that time we are performing Bhuta Yagya, because we are fulfilling the needs of a being. So there is a Jataragni, a Agni in our stomach, and when we are giving the Anna to that Agni, and the Agni is being satisfied with the Anna provided to it, at that time that Kriya, the Kriya of having food, even that Kriya, if it is done with a mindset of Yagya, then it can be considered as Bhuta Yagya. Deva Yagya again will be related to the Devata, that some Yagyas are supposed to be performed for the sake of Devata, the same way the Yagya were performed for the sake of Devata in the category of Shrauta Dharma. Swadhyaya Yagya is performed by a Brahmachari when he is studying. So while the Brahmachari is studying the Ved and the Dharma Shastras by staying in the Gurukul, in the house of the Guru, at that time he is not having any type of independent method of occupation for attaining money through which he can perform the yagya, because dravya just doesn't mean money. Dravya composes money and the objects, substances useful for yagya, everything. So Swadhyaya Yagya will mean that as a brahmachari doesn't possess any method of occupation, he is living with the Guru, he is dependent upon Guru. So studying Ved itself is a Jnana Yagya, it is a Swadhyaya Yagya. So brahmachari is performing the Swadhyaya Yagya. Bhuta yagya and Deva yagya are majorly performed by Grahast, while the fourth type of yagya is Tapo yagya, which is performed by Vanaprasthi and Sannyasi. So being Vanaprasth in the third ashram, Vanaprasth, is the condition in which a person is preparing himself for being detached with the worldly objects. So Grahastha ashram is the period when a person can relish all the worldly objects, all the worldly pleasures in his life, along with being faithful to the dharmic ordinances and by fulfilling the dravya yagya. But in the Vanaprastha ashram, a person is asked to detach himself from all the worldly bondages. And at that time, he is preached to be detached. He is asked to leave the house in which he is living. He is asked to leave the occupation. So after completing 50s, a person should focus upon his Atma, should try to detach himself from all the worldly bondages. He should focus upon attaining salvation for the sake of his Jivatma. And that's why Dharma Shastra says that a person should leave the house, he should start living in the jungle with his wife and survive on the nominal objects he attains from the jungle only and must not involve in any type of occupation and must be content with whatever he attains. So this is the stage of Tapo Yagya. So the way he is performing tapasya for the sake of attaining mukti is also a type of yagya because that yagya is being performed for the sake of jivatma. And the fourth ashram is sannyas ashram, in which a person is supposed to leave everything he has. He should leave a place, a permanent place for staying. He should keep on roaming. He should do bhikshatan. He should attain bhiksha from the grahasthis, and he should completely focus upon detaching his jivatma from the dehadhyas. The adhyas or the wrong belief of jivatma to consider itself the body. So when we stop feeding the body, when we stop fulfilling the needs of body, when we start feeling that whatever I possess is my jivatma, being jivatma is my real form and not being the body is my real form, at that time with this understanding, by practicing the skill of detachment, a person gradually becomes detached from the society, from the family, from the house, from the objects he possesses, and ultimately from everything he has, even his own body. So whatever is happening to the body, the cold, the rain, the summer season, whatever the heat his body is facing, in whichever condition he is, he may attain food sometimes, he may not attain food sometimes. In all these conditions, he should perform the art of the skill of detachment. He should practice detachment for the sake of Jivatma. And this type of yagya will be known as Tapo yagya, which is for the sake of Vanaprasthi and Sannyasi. So Smruti Shastras say that people belonging to all the four Varnas and all the four Ashramas are supposed to consider dharmas on the basis of their Varna and Ashram, and by recognizing themselves with the Varna and Ashrama Dharma, they should choose Bhuta Yagya, Dravya Yagya, Swadhyaya Yagya, and Tapo Yagya, respectively, as per the Varna they belong to and as per the Ashram they belong to. And the ordinances have been very well elaborated in the Smruti Shastras for a person who is willing to perform any type of yagya. So in this way, Smruti Shastras will preach dharma on its independent basis for the people who are not capable of performing Shrauta Dharma. But though the option is given that if a person is able to perform Shrauta Yagya, then he should give priority to the Shrauta Dharma and must follow the Smarta Dharma as per his convenience. On the other side, if a person is not eligible for performing Shrauta Dharma at all, then he should focus upon the Smarta Dharma. And even these Smarta Dharma, through Varnashram Dharma, by the format of Bhuta Yagya, Dravya Yagya, Swadhyaya Yagya, and Tapo Yagya, will provide the result of liberation to the person. And these four type of yagyas have been also elaborated in Bhagavad Gita by Bhagavan in the 9th chapter, where he says that these are the four type of yagyas a person should follow. And as Gita falls under the category of Smruti Shastras, the format of yagya, the format of dharma in Bhagavad Gita is also Smarta Dharma. So in the categories of these four type of yagya, the Smruti Shastras preach Nitya Karma and Naimittik Karma. Nitya Karma incorporates Snan, Sandhya, Japo, Homa, Swadhyaya, Pitrutarpana, Vaishwadevaha, Gogras, Atithi Satkar, and Deva Puja. Snan is a dharma if it is performed with the intention of fulfilling the dharmic kriya for which we need to be eligible by having snan. Sandhya karma is a type of worshipping the eternal reality 3 times a day. And Sandhya karma involves the eligibility of a Gayatri Diksha through Upanayana Sanskar. And that Sandhya karma should be performed by a person on daily basis 3 times a day. Japa should be done, or the Gayatri mantra jap also, because the Gayatri is the primordial form of Ved. It is considered to be the conclusion of whole Ved. And it again, the eligibility of chanting Gayatri mantra is attained through Upanayan Yagyopavit Sanskar only. People who are not eligible for attaining Yagyopavit Sanskar should not chant Gayatri mantra. So the jap is supposed to be performed on daily basis of a Gayatri mantra. And if a person is in the worshipping tradition of any of the particular devata, then the mantra which is dedicated to the devata should also be chanted on daily basis through a japamala. Home is the smarta yagya, smarta home, which should be performed by a brahmachari, grahasth, and vanaprastha accordingly. So in whichever ashram a person belongs, he should perform that home on daily basis as per his varna and ashram. Swadhyaya means to revise the learned Vedas on daily basis. So the brahmachari is learning Ved on daily basis, and after being grahast, one should not forget the Ved and the dharmic scriptures he learned. That's why Swadhyaya is also explained as a Nitya karma, which is supposed to be performed on daily basis. Pitru Tarpan is a karma for the sake of our elders who died and attained Pitru Yoni. Vaishwadev are the name of devtas who are the devtas of the food, whatever we have, the food on which we survive. So Vaishwadeva karma is supposed to be performed for the sake of devtas before having food. Gogras means to feed a cow and to feed the animals after feeding the cow is also supposed to be performed on daily basis. And in Bhagavad Gita, as Bhagavan says, that if we are not sharing the anna, sharing the grain we accumulated, we attained through our occupation, then the grain we eat without sharing is the anna which will generate papa. So the Shastras say that it is important to feed, to offer the grain to the devtas first, and then to offer the grain to the animals, and then Atithi Satkar, the grain should be offered to a guest, Atithi, on daily basis, and only after that, a Grahastha should have food, not before this. And if he is not sharing the amount of grain he accumulated through his occupation, then that grain will be the anna of which will generate pap. So this is under the category of Bhuta Yagya, feeding the conscious beings, and Deva Puja. So Panchadevopasana and Ekanishta Devopasana are the two types of upasana tradition under Smarta Dharma. Panchadevopasana means to worship Shiv, Shakti, Vishnu, Surya, and Ganpati all together. So Panchadevopasana, to worship these 5 devtas all together. And if a person chooses a single devta among these 5 devtas, maybe Ekanishta Vishnu Upasak, Ekanishta Shiva Upasak, Ekanishta Shakti Ganpati or Surya Upasak, then he will have to worship that particular devta on daily basis at his own home along with his family by establishing the deity in his own house. So these are explained as the Nitya Karma, which describe the 4 major categories of Bhuta Yagya, Dravya Yagya, Swadhyaya Yagya, and Tapo Yagya. So after being in a Vanaprastha and Sannyas ashram, a person is not supposed to follow these Nitya Karmas, because Dravya Yagya will not remain possible for him as he is not accumulating any type of money or any type of objects for his survival. He is depending upon the Bhiksha Karma. So in Tapo Yagya, all the other types of dharmas will be incorporated, But specifically for a grahast, all these types of nitya karma are supposed to be performed by him for the sake of fulfilling his dharmic needs. Naimittik karma incorporates the 16 type of sanskaras which are done for the sake of attaining spiritual purity of the human body. Starting from Garbhadan sanskar, which is done when the fetus comes in the womb of a mother. Simantonayan sanskar, which is done for the sake of that jivatma who is growing in the womb of mother. Namkaran, after the birth of the child should be given a good name, which should have a good meaning as per the dharmic language and the dharmic scriptures. Nishkramana sanskar means to take the child into the sunlight for the first time. Karna Ved is to make the child wear the earrings, to do the Ved of Karna, the ear organ. Annaprashan, to feed Anna, grain, for the first time to the child. Chudakaran, to keep the Shikha. Upanayana Sanskar, for the sake of being eligible for attaining Veda Gyan. So Upanayana Sanskar relates the child to the Guru, to a Guru who will teach him dharmic scriptures and dharmic ordinances. Medha Janan Sanskar, through which the Vidya Shakti is installed in the child. Vedaramba Sanskar, through which he starts chanting Gayatri Mantra for the first time, and Gayatri as the Bij of Ved. Samavartan will be the concluding time of Brahmacharya Ashram. Vivaha Sanskar starts with the marriage sanskar, through which a person enters into the grahasthashram, and then antyeshti, which is done at the end of life. So these are the 16 sanskaras, and again, as we understood in the aspect of yagya karma, that on prima facie we feel that all these are some type of physical activities. By chanting some mantras, by sprinkling some water, or by sprinkling some kumkum and akshat on a person, we are doing some physical activity. But all these sanskaras, the mantras being chanted during the sanskaras, if we go through the meaning of those mantras, we can understand that they have deep philosophical meanings for attaining the adhyatmic shuddhi of the body which will be performing dharma for the sake of attaining mukti. So these are not directly beneficial for attaining mukti, but they make a person eligible for performing the dharmic kriya. So Smruti Shastras play a very important vital role for attaining eligibility, and by fulfilling these nitya karma and naimittik karma, under the category of naimittik karma, the karma which are supposed to be performed occasionally, we have these 16 sanskars, and along with them shraddha karma, which is supposed to be performed for the sake of our elders, the dana karma, which is explained on the particular occasions, like on the Muhurt of Sankranti, a person should give dan to a Brahman, to the cows, for the sake of society. Prayashchit karma are the types of karma which a person should do if he has involved in any type of wrong deed, papa karma. And for rectifying that papa karma, he can perform the prayashchit karma as explained in the Smruti Shastras. And vrat and upavas are also some type of naimittik karma which are explained on the basis of the devotional practice a person is involved in. So if a person is a Vaishnav, for example, he is worshipping Ekanishta Vishnu Upasak, then he should perform the Vrat of Ekadashi. Or if he is a Shaiva, then he should perform the respective Vrat Upavasas according to the faith he has in the particular Devta. And if he is Panchadeva Upasak, then accordingly the Vrat Upavasas are explained to that person. So all these type of smarta dharma, including nitya karma, naimittik karma, prayashchit karma, they make a person eligible for performing dharmic kriya. And when he is performing all these karmas with nishkamata, with a nishkama tendency, by not expecting any result at the end of these karmas, because as Bhagavan explains in Bhagavad Gita, that no karma will bear any type of the karma will not go, it won't be wasted. So ultimately you will attain some or the other type of result at the end of karma. So if a person is expecting that by performing Nitya karma, I want to attain some fruit, then Swarga Loka will be the minimum fruit of any of the Nitya Naimitic karma. But if a person is not expecting any fruit at the end of his dharmic sadhana, then Shastras say that mukti will be the result of Nishkama karma. So the Smruti Shastras explain us a way of attaining mukti through Smarta Dharma, being complementary to Shrauta Dharma, and may, in the case of lacking eligibility, in that case, a person can independently follow the smart method for attaining salvation as well. So it is not compulsory to be to relate Shrauta Dharma and Smarta Dharma always. So in the case of superior eligibility, a person should focus upon Shrauta Dharma and must use the aspects of purity which have been preached by Smruti Shastras, the dharmas for Varna and Ashram Dharma, which creates a base for fulfilling the Shraut and Smarta Dharma. They are supposed to be fulfilled by a person for the sake of fulfilling Shraut Dharma. But if a person loses his eligibility for fulfilling the Shraut Dharma, in that case, a person should focus upon the Smarta Dharma and must completely be faithful towards the Smarta Dharma and attain mukti at the end of his Smarta Dharma. So this is the way Shrauta Dharma and Smarta Dharmas have been preached. They have been preached in a very elaborate way, and genuinely it is difficult for the person to fulfill these type of dharmas in his day-to-day life, specifically in the contemporary period, the time in which we are living, where we have lost the tradition of karma. Because the most important aspect I want to discuss regarding these dharma is that it is not possible for a person to revive the tradition of dharma all of a sudden on his individual basis. So as we understood in the morning session, that there are some Vyakti Dharma, there are some Parivarika Dharma, there are some Samaj Dharma and Rashtra Dharma as well. So the Dharma which have been preached in Shruti and Smruti both, though they seem to be Vyakti Dharma, but their application is for the sake of Parivarik Dharma and Samajik Dharma. So if the whole family is not involved in a particular set of dharma, if a particular family is not focused upon the dharmic ordinances, then that vyakti belonging to that society or parivar will not even be able to fulfill his vyakti dharma. So for example, I want to perform a yagya karma. And for a yagya karma, I should be a Brahmana, Kshatriya or a Vaishya belonging to these three varnas, having Upanayana Sanskar, Yagyopavita Sanskar, being eligible with Yagyopavita Sanskar and Gayatri Diksha to be attained from a worthy Guru who will teach me Dharma Shastras. Even after fulfilling these basic needs, a person should accumulate money through the right method of occupation as preached in Shastra as per his Varna and Ashram. So for example, a person belongs to Brahmana Varna, he should accumulate money by teaching the Vedas. He should not fix the amount for preaching the Ved knowledge, and he should accept the Dakshina, whatever being given by the student as after he ends his learning period. So a Brahmana should accumulate money likewise, and only if he performs the yagya karma rightfully through the money he accumulated by the occupation, the method of ajivika explained as per his Varna and Ashram Dharma, only then that yagya karma will be fulfilled. Now in this case, if a family of a Brahmin family is not surviving upon this occupation method, and even a single member of the family will focus upon some other type of occupation, or will be related with any other type of occupation which is related to some other type of varna, then in that case, a person, an individual belonging to that family or community won't be able to fulfill his vyakti dharma. So the issue is that dharma works like the shell which protects the purity. So Smruti dharmas, the Smarta dharmas are works like a shell. The way tortoise remains protected under his shell, same way the norms for maintaining the physical and mental purity work as the shell for protecting the dharma for the sake of attaining mukti. So mukti is only possible if a person is pure in all the aspects. And because sattvikata is the most primordial need, most primary need for attaining nirgunata, and that sattvikata is attained through shauchachar, purity. And these achars have been preached in Smruti Shastras. So what I mean is that the whole society should go in a similar flow. The whole parivar or a whole community or a whole society must follow the dharma with these norms. Only then it is possible for a person to fulfill his vyakti dharma by contributing in parivarik dharma, samaj dharma, rashtra dharma ultimately. So even if a single person breaks the chain, if a single person is breaking the norms, and it will be affecting the whole community and the society he is related with, because all of us are bound with each other in some or the other way. So this is the, I must say, this is the most positive aspect of our dharma for protecting the dharma, because we don't even want a single proportion or a minute proportion of impurity in the dharma for the sake of attaining mukti, because moksha in itself is a very important result, very important fruit. And if a person wants to attain that type of fruit at the end of his life, then he should focus upon all these aspects of dharma. Only by fulfilling all these aspects, a person would be able to attain mukti. Otherwise, even if a person on individual level is not following the dharma, or if a single family is going against the dharmic ordinances, or a community or a civilization is going against the dharmic institutional procedure, method, or ordinances, then it will be affecting each and every single person. So as we discussed in the morning session, that Arjun was concerned about his vyakti dharma by saying that the Pandavas, if we say that they are a family, then that family wanted to attain their kingdom, the rightful kingdom they had, but at what cost? By disturbing the whole society. So Arjun was concerned that this Vyakti Dharma will affect the Samaj Dharma. It will affect the Parivarik Dharma. It will affect the Rashtra Dharma ultimately. So our Dharma is not shaped on the individual basis independently, but it is shaped for the sake of whole society, for the sake of Samaj, for the sake of family, for the sake of nation ultimately. By building a whole civilization which will be going in the similar flow and which will be attaining a fruit at the end of their dharmic journey. So this is the way all these dharmas have been bound with each other, and that's why a person is supposed to understand the dharmic ordinances from the dharma shastras accordingly, respectively, and must focus upon his vyakti dharma, which should be related with his samaj dharma, parivarik dharma, and rashtra dharma. And that's why the ordinances he attains, the orders he picks from the shastras for the sake of his vyakti dharma or for the sake of his parivarik dharma, should be concerned about samaj dharma and rashtra dharma also. So for example, if a person wants to follow brahmacharya, a person is willing to perform the sannyas dharma, but the society is not working the way dharmic society must work. So for example, for the sake of sannyasi, the Manusmriti says that if a sannyasi wants to attain bhiksha from a grahast, then he must check if that particular person, that grahast, is fulfilling all the grahast dharmas properly or not. And if he is not fulfilling his dharmas properly, then a sannyasi is not allowed to attain bhiksha from that particular family. So it means that the dharma of sannyasi is dependent upon the parivarik dharma of a grahast, and the grahast will only be able to fulfill his dharma of providing bhiksha or by fulfilling the bhut yagya, by feeding a sannyasi, only if his whole family is working as per the dharmic principles. So this is how the Shrauta Dharma and Smarta Dharmas have been framed. They have been bound with each other. They have been originated and shaped in this particular way, which can benefit the whole society ultimately, which binds the whole society, which upholds the whole society, and thereby it will take the whole society towards the path of moksha or mukti by following the dharmic method. So this is what I had to say with this session. And here I'm concluding with the topic I had thought for. We can invite the questions if there are any.
Thank you very much, Maitri ji. We have received some questions. I'll just read a few of them. One of the questions is, in the Smartha Dharma, you mentioned Deha Dharma and Atma Dharma. Can you elaborate on the Atma Dharma as well?
Atma Dharma is for the sake of Jivatma, and the only Dharma of Jivatma is to attain Moksha or Mukti. So the methods of Mukti, the methods for attaining Mukti will be performed by the body, but they will be for the sake of Jivatma. While Deha Dharma are not directly used for the sake of Mukti, but they are used for maintaining the purity of the body through which we are performing some dharmic activities for the sake of Mukti. So Deha Dharma will be directly beneficial to the body, while Atma Dharma is only salvation and the specific ordinances which relate directly to the methods for attaining salvation.
Thank you. So another question is, today people do not know much about this Varna Ashrama Dharma. As Vyaktigat Dharma is changed, occupation is being changed, and the chain of Parivarik Dharma has been breached as well. So how is it possible in today's scenario to follow Dharma framework to attain moksha?
So, answering this in a nutshell, though we will be discussing this aspect in tomorrow's evening session elaborately, but in nutshell, a person should focus then on Samanya Dharma and not on Vishesha Dharma, which incorporates Varna and Ashram Dharma, and the traditions of worship, which even excludes and includes the Varnashram Dharma at some cost and at some stages. By differing the stages, we will be discussing this elaborately in tomorrow's evening session. But in nutshell, Samanya Dharma is the answer in this crisis period.
Another question is, I think you made an important point about Samanya Dharma. I think people don't realize the importance of Samanya Dharma, which by definition is universal. So I'm looking forward to the tomorrow's session on this aspect, Maitri ji. So we have another question. In comparison to bhakti and karma marks to achieve liberation, where actions underscore an appeal, what is the appeal in the jnana mark that leads to liberation? Is it that if I acquire knowledge, that's enough for liberation? An example would help understand.
In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says that Jnana will burn all the karmas. So, though karmas have sanchit, the types of karma have been explained in sanchit karma and in the format of kriyaman karma. The karmas we have accumulated in our previous births, they are supposed to be resulted, and we have to bear the fruits of those karmas as well, which we haven't done in this life, but we have done in our previous life. So in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says that the nature of karma is very complex, and a person, in spite of being involved in many a type of karma, even after understanding many a type of dharmic ordinances, will not be able to conclude upon what sort of karma he should choose. So there Bhagavan explains the importance of Gyan by saying that Gyanagni, the fire of Agni, burns all the type of karmas, but it doesn't just mean the primary nature of Gyan, which we attain by reading a book, but it should be in the format of realization. So the realization of Brahman by Brahma Gyan in the condition of Jivan Mukti. So if the Gyan attains that level of Brahma Gyan, then all the types of sanchit karma, kriyaman karma, everything will burn with the fire, with the power of that Gyan. And that's how Gyan is beneficial for attaining moksha. And in that superior condition of Gyan, a person can let go of all the type of karmas, and he will not bear any type of papa karma as the result of leaving those karmas, because in the condition of Gyan, he is not identifying himself as an individual, but he is identifying himself as Brahman.
Wonderful. I think that is a very important perspective to be had. So another question is, Is there anywhere mentioned about the criteria to judge actions as good or bad? So that one can evaluate in advance about what actions to do, what actions to not do, or is it merely about common perceptions that something is good is enough?
See, as we understood that our ethical understanding, our basic rational mindset do explain us and provide us the basic understanding of what is good and what is bad. But the society which is running in not fulfilling the dharmic needs may have different criterias of what is good and bad. So, for specifically for deciding what is good and what is bad, what is satkarma and what is asatkarma, we should focus upon what Smruti Shastras have to say. It cannot be decided on the basis of our individual understanding.
I might add here to the answer that Bhagwan Krishna himself has answered in Gita, right? Akarma, karma, akarma. For that, Shastra is the pramana to be consulted to decide what is to be done and what is not to be done. So I think that pretty much answers it. I think we have one more question. This is, if a person performs yagya with his or her favorite deity, that is Ishta Devata, that then would that karma yoga, would that mean that karma yoga is meeting bhakti yoga? Similarly, similar to how karma yoga integrates jnana yoga by living as per Brahmarpanam shloka. So that is a few
Yes.
questions.
Yes, exactly. So if the devata is being worshipped in the format of yagya, and the yagyakarta is having the emotion of worshipping the devata through yagya, and he has the emotion of love and bhakti towards the devata, then bhakti margi, for example, if a person is specifically into the path of worship, path of bhakti, and along with the Bhakti Marg, he has to follow the procedure of Karma Marg also, Nitya Karma, Naimittik Karma, Varna Dharma, Ashram Dharma, all those. So all these dharmas will contribute in his bhakti. So when he is doing that karma and he is having the emotion that I want to dedicate this karma to my Ishta Devata, then that karma will not remain a mere karma, but it will be under the major category of bhakti.
Thank you, Maitriji. I think we don't have any more questions. And viewers, if you do reflect upon it, if you have any questions, tomorrow morning you can ask. We will start tomorrow morning again at 11 a.m. So do attend. Thank you again, Maitriji, for a wonderful session. Look forward to tomorrow's session as well.
Yeah.
With
No.
this, we conclude the session. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha.